Awesome. So congrats on getting under contract. Y'all excited?
Thanks.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a little too good to be true, I feel like.
Yeah.
Been tough.
We're we're waiting to see what comes back from the inspection.
Yeah,
To
right.
make sure that everything's good to go. But yeah, no, I mean it's exciting to say the least. But yeah, so we'll see.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for y'all. Looks like an awesome property, and I agree. Like, this process is usually a mixture of emotions of like anxiety and excitement. A little bit of fluctuating. Like excited your offer is accepted, but a little maybe anxious about what the inspection report says. So either way, you're at a good spot in terms of we've hit a good milestone. So I figured what we could do today is just revisit those numbers again, make sure you feel good about the numbers and the options. Then we can talk through some next steps. And then we can kind of answer any other outstanding questions you have. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Yeah. I know
Sounds
that sounds
great.
great.
Cool. So first and foremost, I'll pull up the numbers. Secondly, let me pull up the contract. I show we have close date at the beginning of June. Okay. So the reason I wanted to bring that up is if we close in the month of June, your first mortgage payment is August 1st.
Okay.
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 Then have y'all taken care of getting the earnest money check, which was $10,000 to the title company?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we've got those things in place. Then what you see here on the screen is basically we've got two different options for you. Okay, so we've got one with a little bit lower closing costs and one with a little bit lower interest rate. So let's go through the monthly payment first, then the closing costs, and then you can kind of let me know what your thoughts are. So if we hit this more info button, you can see here what I have updated is the property taxes. So this is based on what the title company gave me for the property taxes. Okay. For this particular property. However, homeowners insurance is still a good faith estimate. So one of the things I would ask you to work on over the next couple of days is go ahead and reach out to an insurance agent and get an actual insurance policy quote. So that way we can update that part of your monthly payment. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Then that puts you at 3702 on this option. This would be 3742. Okay. And if we hit the closing cost option, you can kind of see this breakdown a little bit more. We've gone through this before, but just to kind of revisit that, is 205,353 is your cash to close with the first option. Okay.
Okay.
But that's the money you're bringing to closing at the beginning of June. Okay. But you would have already provided a $10,000 earnest money check. So that means your all in budget for this option is 215,000. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. If we go with option number 2, which is the lower closing cost option, that will put you at 213 all in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And basically the difference there is a difference of 2.99 on the interest rate and 3.125. So kind of the quick way to kind of make this decision on financially.
Yeah.
If it
I already
makes
know
sense.
which we want the lower interest rate.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good. That's what I thought. And Lex, you and I kind of did the break-even analysis last time. So,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then Paige, do you have any questions on that? Because I know me and Lex went through the closing costs in great detail like the last time. Would you like me to go through that and kind of give you an overview of what goes into those numbers, or do you feel comfortable with what you see on the screen?
I feel comfortable with what I see on the screen. And then if I have any follow-up questions, I'll let y'all know.
Perfect. Awesome. So what I'm
Thank
going to
you.
do is I'm going to mark this option here, that this is the one we're going forward with. Okay. And then here's kind of what our next steps look like. Okay. And I'll send you a recap email on this, but here's your next steps. So number 1, we'll have you complete an e-consent. Have you seen that email? Has that come through yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. And then were you able to create your account and username and password?
Not yet, but it's on my
Okay.
list today.
Perfect. When you do that, what you're doing, Lex and Paige, is you're basically consenting to doing business with us electronically rather than coming into the office and hand signing everything. Okay. So you just create an account with a username and password. You use it a couple times throughout the process. Okay.
Okay.
The very first time though you log in, it will ask you for a one-time authorization code. That one-time authorization code will be the last 4 digits of your social. Okay.
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 Then we'll have you sign the intent to proceed. Okay, so that intent to proceed will match what you see here on the screen in terms of the numbers. Okay, so we'll go ahead and populate that. That'll probably populate in the system later today or tomorrow. Once that's done, then we'll order the appraisal. Appraisal typically takes about 2 weeks or so to get back. Then we're going to prepare your loan for underwriting. Your loan is already pre-approved and we are on track to hit your close date, but we do need to get through 2 more levels of approval. So you will get some additional document requests. We just ask if you can be available to reply back to those within 24 to 48 hours. That really helps us stay on track. Okay.
Yep. Not a problem.
Each Tuesday, I'll check in with you. So you'll get your first Thomas Tuesday update tomorrow. It'll be a text and email, kind of have everything broken down step by step. So you can kind of see where we're status as, and it kind of gives you updates. So that way we make sure everybody stays on track. I'll be the point of communication with the realtors and the listing or the title company and y'all from this point forward, just to keep everybody on page so we can stay on track to close. And then lastly, we do want you to go ahead and shop for homeowners insurance. Okay. That way we can finalize that part of your monthly payment. Do you have a homeowners insurance agent you already have a relationship with? Or if you'd like, we can bundle that with Allstate. We work with Allstate a lot, so we can actually put that together in the mortgage if you'd like.
Yeah, we've already got an existing relationship.
Cool.
But so I'll probably, get a quote from them. And then if the quote is reasonable, we'll probably go with it. If not, maybe I can reach out to.
If you want a second opinion, but I'd say go with the relationships. I'm in the business of, loyalty as well and having good relationships. And so once you make that decision, you're good with the policy, just send a quick email to us and say, hey, Jackson and team, this is who we're working with. And then we can take it from there, because we've already factored in the homeowners insurance policy right there.
Okay.
Part of what so you'll pay for that at closing, and then that'll cover you from this June to next June. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense.
Let's see here. Awesome. And then I'll send you a recap email on all this that we just went through, but that's everything I had. I had numbers and next steps. Did y'all have any other questions or anything else that you would like to clarify?
In terms of additional documentation that you guys are going to need, anything that you can tell me ahead of time, just so I can start getting it ready to rock and roll?
So really what this process is, Lex, is it's kind of a verification and re-verification of income, assets, and credit.
That's what I figured.
Most things will kind of fall in those three categories as it pertains to you, because there are documents we need, but some of those are coming from the title company. Some of those are coming from the appraiser. So we'll go ahead and start that process, kind of requesting those items now. So probably the most common things we'll ask for is we usually need to get every pay stub between now and closing. So just heads up, when you get your pay stub, send it over, because we only have to verify up until the day you close. Once you close, we never verify anything ever again. So and because of COVID, we now have to verify you're employed up until like basically the day of closing. So that's why we'll get a pay stub. We didn't used to have to do that, but post-COVID, that's kind of been a newer rule. We also have to verify you're still employed about a week before closing. So we'll ask her, hey, is there a good phone number or email? Somebody in your HR department, someone in your payroll department, maybe your boss, that we can just simply give a call to about a week before closing and simply say, hey, is Lex still employed? And if they say yes, we're good. We typically want to verify a few things on your credit report, like go a little bit more detailed than we did on the pre-approval. So we'll say, hey, we see these 3 addresses are on your credit report. Can you just confirm you don't own them? So you can just reply back and say, nope, I don't own these, and nope, I didn't live at them within the last 2 years. Because all we have to verify is your last 2-year living history. So sometimes on your credit report, like you may have an address that pops up just simply because it's your parents' address and your old college, paperwork is still getting sent to your parents' house for some reason, and so something in the credit system shows this address associated with you. So we just ask you to verbally or by email confirm you don't own it and you haven't lived there, or you don't live there anymore. Don't have your credit pulled by anybody between now and closing, but if you did, like let's say you wanted to get like a refrigerator, if you take out any additional debt between now and closing, we have to verify that. So like my advice would be, don't go buy a car, don't get a refrigerator, don't take out a new credit line. If you need to spend your credit cards, that's fine, but like don't go max them out, where all of a sudden like your monthly, like, you put $50,000 on something on your credit card, that's going to throw things off a little bit. So those are probably the top 3 or 4 things. We'll probably need to get a bank statement to verify that your earnest money deposit is checked, like has cleared, like that 10,000. So probably 2 weeks from now, a new bank statement will generate and we'll request it. Those are probably the most common ones, but there might be a few other things. But does that at least gives you kind of a general idea?
Yeah. That does. No, that's super helpful.
And actually on that note, that's a good kind of little thing I can kind of speak to here is basically me and Brian and Tony are going to kind of run point, kind of getting everything into underwriting. Once your loan's in underwriting, we're going to assign it to an underwriting and closing specialist. So it'll be either Grace or Tequila. So that next list of things you get will probably come from Grace or Tequila saying, hey, can you get us that bank statement with the earnest money deposit, something like that. And then their job is to make sure the closing docs arrive on time. Any questions related to that come through. They'll be there to kind of hold your hand and, any crossing of T's or dotting of I's related to bank statements or pay stubs or calling the employer to verify your employee. They kind of run point on that. Does that make sense?
Yep. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so any other questions or any other things y'all are concerned about that you'd like me to speak to?
In terms of, so the rates that you just showed me, when will we be able to have a locked rate per
My
se?
plan was to go ahead and lock you today. So
Okay.
like now technically you're a little bit further out than 30 days, so we could wait to see if rates get a little bit better. But my general recommendation is once you go under contract, I think we should lock you in. I also think we're in a good spot. I think rates are slightly better than we last talked anyway. Rates have actually dipped a little bit and we're back down into the 2s.
Right.
So I would think, I never really know, like rates could go down tomorrow, right? But as a general rule, once you're under contract, my recommendation is just lock,
Okay.
especially when you're right around 30 days. So are y'all comfortable go ahead and locking at the 2.99 with the terms we showed?
Yes. Yes, we
Okay,
are.
cool. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the lock button here. I'll send that out to you so you can see everything. Any other questions?
I
Nope.
think there was a 20-day for the final approval. Is
Good
that
question.
right, Lex?
Yeah, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a financing contingency date. So what we need to do is just get your loan through underwriting and get what's called a conditional approval within 20 days, which will not be a problem.
Okay.
We also then just need to be able to close by, I think it's June, give me 1 second, it's June 7th, I think. June 7th, that's right, yeah. So what'll happen is my plan is to have everything done about a week before closing. I like being done way ahead of time, but
Okay.
you'll sign on the 7th of June. So we just need to have the loan fully approved by the 7th. But my plan, we have it done about a week before then. So, but the financing contingency just means that we have, not only have I verified it, but the underwriter has verified. We have everything for approval. We just need to verify your final employment and usually do one more credit review. It's not a pull, but we check to make sure. We'll call the bureaus and just say, hey, have they taken out any new debt? As long as they say no, we're good. But
Okay.
that's usually where you get the clear to close. You get those little final items. So
Okay. Perfect.
cool. Any other questions? Anything else you'd like me to speak to?
No, this is super helpful. I'm good on my end.
Awesome.
Same here.
I'll send you a recap of all this, and then you'll get the formal intent to proceed. It'll probably come through tomorrow. Okay.
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 All right,
Perfect.
guys. Well, congrats again. Have a wonderful evening, and look forward to celebrating with you when you get into this new home.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Awesome.
Jackson.
Thanks, Jackson.
Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
All right.